Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you guys stopping in once again. I think we have a good one tonight, and hopefully you guys are at least half as excited to get this thing going as I am. So yeah, welcome. We have a couple people already waiting. Thank you so much for coming in. Wyatt, I see you. And Jingo, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the chat. I really just have two things to ask of you if you're in the chat. One, participate in some way. That's like do a thumbs up, say a comment, something like that. It helps drive the algorithm. And number two, if you just want to hang out in the wings and watch, your viewership does help the channel. So thank you for being here. Appreciate it. But I'm Randall Rydes. If we haven't met, I have a small fishing charter at Lewistown Lake. Not exclusively there, but I do a lot of my trips out of Lewistown, which is probably why most of you guys know me. From here on the YouTube channel, of course. And then maybe you came out on a trip with me or not. It's no big deal. So what I want to do is, if you're catching up later, you might fast forward this until about, I don't know, 10 minutes or something until the stream starts. But I want to give people just about, 5 minutes to kind of catch up. So if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. That'll help guide it. And if you have any thoughts, if you're running into anything, talk to me. Maybe I can help you out, help you succeed. But good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live. I'm going to wait until we get about 5 minutes, maybe 5 after 8, and I'm gonna start at that point. But I want to give people a chance to know, and give people a chance to catch up and realize there's a live stream. Jingo, I can't tell you. I really can't. I would say that it hasn't changed much since I've been out there, except for it's probably amplified. They're probably doing a little better right now, but I haven't been out in the last couple days. There's a reason for that. I had some, we'll just say it's business-related stuff, office stuff. I was kind of stuck at the office, if you will. So I wasn't on the water for the business. I was in the office for the business. So I don't have anything updated to tell you on the status of the Lakers tonight. Crazy, I know. I usually have something to spill about them. I think I could still go out and find them, so I think I have an idea what's going on. Good evening, Doug. Welcome to the live, man. We have a good one tonight. I think it's going to be, this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be just a little bit different. I'm wearing my buddy's shirt tonight. So we had, so Jingo, you're asking about the Lakers. So this is what I know. I'll tell you. I'll try to give you like 3 things to help you work it out. One, I'm going to recommend you put in at 7 points. That seems to be the area that you should be focused on. That area, if you're going for Lakers. And number 2, I was noticing them at about on the bottom and about 50 foot. And then if you're trolling like out in the main channels, they're down about 100 to 110 feet deep. So you're going to need downriggers to send them down that deep. If you're going to jig for them, you're probably going to want to target about 50 foot. That was 2. I had a third one. I was going to tell you, and it just it left my mind. It'll come back. Nick, good evening, man. Good evening. It's good to see you in the chat. You're like a regular now. Welcome back. I'm going to wait till just another minute or 2, let people kind of catch up, and then we're going to get this live stream rolling. But I think we have a good one tonight. I'm kind of excited about it. You guys have any questions for me that I might be able to answer before I get into the live stream? Now's a great time to throw them into the chat, and you're always welcome just to say hi in the chat too. That's fine. You can have conversations with one another in the chat. Whatever you do, that stuff actually helps the channel a lot. So participate in any which way. It's all good. If it gets out of hand, if somebody needs to be put on timeout, you just let me know. I'll put them on timeout. But I don't think we have that crowd here. No boat yet. Oh, Nick. They're still rebuilding those carbs, huh? Next time, we'll just get together and do it. Just you and me. We'll break it down. Have it back together within a few hours. Well, if you count on me, it'll probably take a day or 2, but you could probably do it in a few hours. Yeah, I bet it is killing you. Good evening, Bird. Welcome to the live chat, man. Good to see you again. Man, you guys are great. We've already got a solid enough crew. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. If we haven't met, it's Randall. And hi. So let's do this. You guys saw that I put out an urgent message. It said this is an emergency live stream and that the moon is falling. So I'm going to get into that. But before I do, I want to do this. I've been trying to start these live streams off, trying to be outside of myself, if you will. I want to share this screen here with you. And I want to go back to these two fishing reels that a guy in our community is trying to sell. Guys, the trolling season for striper is right ahead of us. If you do not have fishing reels yet, you should look into this. You should give these guys a chance here. Let me just make it big so I can flip through them. These are the Warfares, and you can see on the reel here what the line capacity is, and there's a set of them, so there's two of them. So if you need some reels, hit this gentleman up and load yourself up with some good reels. So I wanted to push that a little bit because they've been sitting on Marketplace for a little bit, and I'd rather it sell within the community rather than outside of the community. You guys understand. All right, and second of all, you guys saw I have the shirt on tonight. He didn't pay me. I'm just doing this because he's my buddy. And this is Paul. And you guys have seen Paul in my videos a few times. This is his business. Aquatraction of Southern PA. You guys can go onto Facebook and look this up. And he's got some great pictures of all the boats. You can just click on the photos here. And you can just kind of scroll down and you can kind of look through them. So this pattern he's putting on the boat, if you guys are putting a new deck on your boat, call Paul, and he'll do this for you. He's got a state-of-the-art piece of equipment that he comes out to measure it, and you guys can see in the video here, this is precision. Precision. You cannot cut this with a knife closer than what he can lay these things in. And they're all made perfectly for your boat. So if you want something sharp done, reach out to Paul of Aquatraction, and holy cow, look at the size of that flathead. Cheers! That's a beast. Nice fish, man. So yeah, Aquatraction, Southern PA. That's Paul, our one. He's one of us. He's one of our locals. So reach out to Paul in Aquatraction. Just send him a message there, and he'll get right back to you. And finally, I wanted to say this before I get into the live stream, guys. I track my algorithms with all my different socials and such. And what I've been noticing is on my Amazon account, a lot of people are following those links and coming to the Amazon page and are doing shopping. There's not too many purchases being made, but there's a lot of traffic going. So people are following the links. Now, I've mentioned that, but I haven't shown it to you. So I want to show you, if you're not familiar how to do that, what you do is you just go onto my channel. You guys see it like right here. I'll try to do it with this one right here. This is the moon is falling. This is the one you're watching right now. You open the video and there it'll be. Let me mute it so it doesn't duplicate. There's your messages. But down below all of this, you're going to see this description portion here where it says more. This is like underneath all my all the video stuff, right? Where you can click thumbs up, you can share it, whatever you want to do. But down here, right underneath, there's all these blue letters. These are the Amazon links that I've been talking about that people are clicking on and following them. It's super simple. You just come down here, like say you want to look at what fishing rods I use, and you just click on that link, and it'll automatically take you to Amazon, and it'll be the fishing rod that I'm recommending you use for striper. So, and this is it right here. So whether you buy this or not, if you shop, and now within 24 hours, if you pick something up from Amazon, they're going to send me a small commission. Doesn't cost you anything, but it sends me a little bit of something. You know what I mean? So it's helpful. I appreciate the people who are doing that. And if you didn't know how to do it, now you do. Real easy. All right. Good evening, guys. Let's get back into the stream. I feel like I got to it. I got everything covered. We've had time. Everybody's kind of caught up again. I think we're in good shape. So, let me make sure I got all my everybody in the chat here. Bird, good evening. Yeah, we said that. And okay. And Doug, did you change nights for the live streams. No, tonight was an emergency live stream. So something occurred to me that I think you guys want to know about because I missed it and I saw it last minute and it was enough that made me call a couple of my pals and we're going to go fishing tomorrow. And that's a big enough deal that I thought it was worthwhile doing this. It's good for the channel to come on and do some lives with you. Besides, I didn't think anybody would complain about having a little bit of extra information going into the weekend right now. Here's the thing, is I know there's a lot of people, when the weekend comes, they're tired from work and they're thinking, oh, should I go fishing or should I just hang out at the house and take care of some whatever they got to do or just relax? I think after having this live stream with you, I think I'm going to nudge you towards the lake. I think it's the right time for you to go out. And I know that's not going to be popular with the people who go to the lake. I know they're going to be like, oh, we would have, had the whole lake to ourselves. I don't think so. I think after today's weather, everybody's going to the lake. I just want to make sure that when you go to the lake, you're feeling confident about it. Or if you were on the fence about it, I want to encourage you to get out there, because getting out there is always better than staying inside. Almost always. Almost always. But yeah, that's why we're doing the live stream tonight. It's just to encourage folks to go out. Let me get into it. So we're not going to be a full live stream tonight unless the chat kind of takes off, but let me get into what's actually happening. You guys saw the title. It was The Moon is Falling. So let me explain myself. This is, if you guys look up here right at the top of the screen, you guys can check this out too. This is a web page everybody can go to. It's just timeanddate.com. And you get on the moon rise and moon set cycle. And you can look up these timetables here. And this is just daily tables, right? So today is the 9th. This is today. So the moon came up. It's got a little sliding scale on here so you can kind of mess around with it a little bit. The moon came up at 7:24 and it's set at 5:22. Today was a good day to be on the water as well. I didn't go. I hope you did. And if you did, I bet you did okay. It's the 10th. The tomorrow now is what I'm actually looking at, and there's a reason for that. I'll get to it. You'll see that the sunrise and the sunset changed just a little bit. So it changed about, I'll say 30 minutes, something like that. And you'll see that tomorrow it's going to be kind of about another 30 minutes. So about every day it changes about 30 minutes. So you're going to see the peak in the day, the position overhead, right about the middle of the day there, around 12:30, maybe 1 o'clock, something like that. That's where the moon's going to be at its highest point in the sky. But you guys can mess around with that sliding scale. This might be old news for a lot of you guys. You might be familiar with this stuff, but you can look out a couple days and everything too. You can track whenever it's going to be, whatever the moon cycle is going to be. And like right here, you can scroll down here to see the full moon on the 24th, right there, and it'll tell you when the moon's coming up and going down. Like if you were going to go cast the banks with a full moon, you see that the moon's coming up at 6:12, and it's going to be a full moon. So maybe you'll get out there at around, if you want the moon in the sky, you get out there around 8 o'clock, and then you cast for a few hours. So this is a good scale to have in your tool bag. So something to come back to, but there's something specific. It's not just the moon cycle that you want to track. There's more to it than this. I'm a big advocate for following and tracking all the different systems. That's everything from cloud cover to high-low pressures to temperatures, not just water temperatures, but also air temperatures. The moon cycle, meaning, full moon, half moon, new moon, all that stuff. That stuff's important to some degree, but even more importantly than that is the moon position. Whether you can see the moon or not is irrelevant. The moon is up there. It's either overhead or it's underfoot or some other mixture of the two. But it's something worth tracking. And if you didn't have a means to do that, now you do. So here's what I wanted to point out to you. Here's what the thumbnail was, the end of days thumbnail that says the moon is falling. This is what I'm talking about. Over here, this distance in miles. If you go up here, and you can look back and forward with this, and you'll see how far the moon is actually going to pass from the Earth as it's going around. And you see these numbers here where it's 246,000, 43, 39, all the way down to 28, 25. And here's what I'm looking at is tomorrow, the 10th. Let me scroll enough so you can see the 9th as well. The 9th today was at 223. Tomorrow at 222. The moon is going to start rising at this point. It's going to get further away from the Earth. So, the reason I'm pointing this out, there's something to this. Whenever the moon passes over, I want you to think of like magnets, right? This is the way I'm kind of understanding it. If you take two magnets that are polarized, they're going to pull toward each other. They're magnetic. They're going to pull toward each other. The closer you get to them, the stronger they get, right? So the closer the moon is to the Earth, the more the Earth is affected by the gravity of the moon. So there's going to be a lot of changes because of that, especially if you're dealing with like ocean, saltwater type stuff. But even in our freshwater systems, the fish have a way of knowing. They have a different way of feeling whenever they have that celestial body, which is massive, coming close enough to fill. The reason it's so important is because the moon isn't going to get any closer than this. Tomorrow, the moon's magnetic draw, or the gravitational pull, is going to be felt at its maximum. That's one thing in the system. It's major, but it's still just one thing in the system. I'm going to get right back to that. Do you guys understand? Am I explaining that in a way that you guys are, am I making sense? So when you start talking about the moon, people don't always gravitate, they don't gravitate to it. They don't always cling to it. Like they think of the moon cycle as being full moon or new moon and something in between. But I find that that's really just about light levels. So how bright the sky is will absolutely affect the bite. But if you have a heavy cloud cover and it's a full moon, I don't think it matters. I haven't affected it. It hasn't affected my fishing that I've noticed. Whenever it's bright out and there's clear sky, a full moon on a clear sky, 100%, it does affect the bite. But we're just talking about the light. Even more than the full moon is the position of the moon. The position of the moon is so much more important. Specky, good evening. Welcome to the live chat, man. Thank you for saying something saying a comment there. Appreciate it. Yeah, so here's number 2. We have the window, or we have this window of the moon. Let me bring that back up for you. And you guys can look this up. You guys don't have to wait for me to have a live stream to go over this stuff. You guys can look this up and track it yourself. The moon is going to be very close, but look at the timeline here. The timeline of the rise and fall of the moon right here. This is really cool. The moon's it's getting bright. I don't think it's bright enough at 7 o'clock. It's still pretty dark at 7. The sky is starting to take some color at 7 o'clock, right? Well, look at your moon rise. It's right at 8 o'clock. What I'm telling you is you take your boat down and you don't even have to wake up early. You take your boat down and you can work in the light is what I'm saying. So you wake up in the morning kind of like you're going to work, or maybe you sleep in till 7 o'clock and then jump in the rig and take the boat. Till you get to the water here, let's say it's the sun rises approximately 8 o'clock. Let's say you get there at 9 o'clock. That moon is still really low on the horizon, meaning the effect that it's having on the fish hasn't kicked in yet. Also, keep in mind that the day is early, so the temperatures are as low as they're going to be. They're just now starting to climb. Essentially, what you're going to look at is as the moon climbs and drops, that's one thing. The temperature is also going to be in synchronicity with it, rising and dropping with the moon. In addition to that is going to be the daylight. Yeah, the sun and the moon is going to rise and fall kind of together. There's more to be said on that. There's a lot of things you can say on it. We are anticipating an overcast day tomorrow too, which if you guys follow me at all, I'm a big fan of. Overcast, moon overhead, plus it's very close. We got this 222,000 miles. So this is as close as the moon is going to be. There's a lot going on here that should push these fish to be active. They recognize these systems naturally. We kind of have to see them coming and kind of predict them and stuff. They just feel it. They have a different way of feeling than us. It's not too different though. Have you guys ever been out on a full night with public? If you work in the service industry, like say you were a server, you worked at a restaurant, right? And it's a full moon, you know it's a full moon. So we're not really that different. We're affected by it also, just very differently. I feel like I bowled over a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm just going to take a slight pause there and just catch up with you guys. You have any questions about what I just went over there? Tomorrow, I'm going to meet up with a couple of my pals. We're going to load in the boat, and I'm going to pick up some live bait from Zane Weaver's down at Rough and Ready Campground. And we're going to go, and we're going to look. We're going to look around. I'm curious, and like I'll do a lot of searching and stuff. Like when I go fishing, a lot of it's not really fishing. It's really about just searching and just, looking around. It's scouting. There are a lot of scouting trips. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to do some scouting with my pal and Brian from Briar's Lures. He's going to ride with me tomorrow. And we're going to go out and we're just going to look around. We're going to see what we can find, probably do a little bit of fishing, and with a little bit of luck, we'll connect with something. But ultimately, I am testing this because I want to come back and have a very positive report for you and give you some information. But I think tomorrow we're going to get one of the first glimpses of what the spring bite is going to be. We've had such a warm-up, guys. It's very uncommon to have this much mild weather. Did anybody else go out today in a t-shirt? I went fishing down at the Juniata for like an hour and a half, and I had the lightest jacket on, and I was regretting that I was wearing it. I was just sweating. Yeah, see, Bird worked in retail. Listen to Bird. After 35 years of working in retail, it's definitely true. The full moon feelings, yep. Yep. Hey, Brian, good evening. Welcome to the live chat, man. Welcome. I don't have much to report on the Lakers tonight. I gave a little bit of information earlier in the live stream. If you want to, whenever this is done, just go back and rewatch the beginning if you would, please. We're going to be talking for the last, I'd say another like 5 or 10 minutes about the effect of this moon that is falling from the sky. So hang tight. I'm going to get back to that chart in just a minute. I appreciate it, Bill. Thank you. But yeah, it's very true. The moon definitely has an effect. Don't let anybody tell you it doesn't. There's a lot of things in the systems that, fishermen and hunters and just the food industry people, a lot of things that they start to notice after years of doing it, but the moon is one you figure out within a few years. That's just a major one. Let me get back to the moon rise and moon set scale for you. And I keep clicking on the wrong button there. So here we are. The reason, again, I think this was important, I wanted to share it with you, is because tomorrow's the 10th. And, of course, Sunday is the 11th. And what we're having is these 2 days back-to-back. Back-to-back, guys. It's going to be very similar. I talked just for a moment about air temperature as well. Air temperature's got, like, what fish prefer. And if you guys are bass fishermen, you guys know this one really well. They like conditions to be steady. So when you look at the overnight and daily temperatures and stuff, you don't want them to fluctuate too much. You want them to kind of stay about the same for long periods of time. We're fortunate that we have a little spell of time right here that we have had some relatively steady. I'm looking at my app here for you. We're looking at very similar highs and lows for today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So we're going to have this 4-day stretch right now where the sun and the moon are both pulling and they're rising and setting together. We're going to have some overhead conditions, overcast conditions where the temperature is going to be right, like tomorrow it's going to be around 60. So it's going to be probably 61, 62. And then on Sunday it'll be a little bit cooler. Monday a little bit warmer again. So we're really kind of holding right in that area. So what we're getting is a lot of things putting pressure on them to make them active. A lot of different parts in the system are kind of lining up. That's why the emergency live stream, guys. I hope you guys understand. I want you to go out and be successful. I don't want people to struggle when they go on the water. If you'll track just a couple of these systems, if you will, you want a low pressure, not a high pressure. You want to have moon overhead, but not a bright moon overhead unless you're doing a certain type of fishing, right? Like that's important to understand. It's gotta adhere to the kind of fishing and the species that you're looking to target. But if you'll track these systems with me, and whenever something really big like this happens, guys, if you were on the fence at all about going fishing tomorrow, I hope this knocks you off of it. Go rig the boat up tonight before you go to bed, and tomorrow morning when you wake up, you can do your last little couple things, stop at the pump and get gas, and then be on the water. I can't guarantee a catch, guys. You still have to go fishing. So you can't count on just the words and the systems. You still have to go out and grind to make it happen. But if you go out tomorrow, I think you're going to be glad you did. Guys, it's going to be a beautiful day out too. It's going to be beautiful. I didn't see anything as far as wind. It'll be lower than 10, we'll say. But if the winds do pick up, you can always go pick the coves apart. And I think picking the coves apart can be very productive this time of year. So don't be afraid of doing that. But good. Bird, you're going to be out tomorrow? Fantastic. Fantastic. Today was a beautiful day to be on the water too, though. Tomorrow will still be good, but today was a beautiful day to go. I'm glad I went down to the creek and just cast it a little bit. I had, just so you know, my report from the creek is I had 2 on and 2 off. I was pulling a crankbait and I lost 2. I had them on and they came off. I think my hook was just a little oversized. Brian, that's a great question. Does the moon have any effect on the barometric pressure on the Lakers? The barometric pressure is mostly... Okay, so here's the issue when we start talking about details is I actually took a college course on meteorology, so I know that much about it, and it's just enough to make me think I might know something. Take this as a grain of salt, right? But from what I understand, the high pressure system, the low pressure system, it's really just about storm cells on the surface of the planet. It's not going to be affected by gravitational pull of the moon. So no, I would say that the moon has no effect on the barometric pressure because that is driven by our high and low system, the pressure systems it's on the Earth. You see it, as the weather patterns kind of spin around, you get those pockets where you have high pressure or low pressure just moving in and out. Basically, cloud cover, you figure that's low pressure. And whenever it's clear out, you figure that's high pressure. It lends to the fact that I've told you guys this before. Fishing is not a fair weather sport. If you're looking for sunny, bluebird skies, kind of days for fishing, you're probably struggling to catch. If those are the days you're looking for before you go on the water, you're really cutting yourself out of the best kind of fishing. Tomorrow we're going to have overcast, and I think it's a great thing. Yeah. Brian, you're very welcome. Again, take it for what it's worth. It's coming from this old boy. So, if you guys get nothing else out of this whole thing, start tracking the moon cycle, of course. But if you get nothing else out of this whole thing, I want you guys to go see my boy Paul at Aqua Traction of Southern PA. If you're putting a new deck on your boat, make sure he's the man you're talking to. I mean, he just does beautiful work. And you can do these in all these patterns and colors and stuff. And he's local, man. He's local. Aqua Traction. He gave me this shirt, and I'm really proud of him. I think he's doing a great job. Spring is right ahead, guys. Summer right behind it. We're about to start cranking. I think there's going to be a lot of great pictures of people holding some great fish, and I hope you're one of them. And how much better would it be if you had the great backdrop of a brand new deck on your boat? Wyatt, the striped bass are definitely going to be affected by the moon. It's a bass species. Bass are like, they're very sensitive. The reason you can, like the bass fishermen, the reason that there's so much draw to bass fishing is they can be a challenge. You can have them figured out, and then an hour later, something happens that just changes them. It could be the clouds that were giving you overcast, just it cleared up. And so now your bait has to change with the conditions. You ever been out on the water bass fishing and there's a topwater bite that's hot and you're catching them, you know, like every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes you're pulling one in, and then it's just like, and you see them like, you know, popping on the water and stuff, like almost constantly every few minutes you see something feeding on the top, and all of a sudden it's gone like a switch. There's a lot of guys that'll still be out there still casting that top water because it was working 15 minutes ago. But the guys who really have their game dialed in for bass, they're paying attention. They're paying attention. They're using the old noodle. And they're seeing that as part of it. That's a huge indicator. If they stop feeding on the top, stop throwing on the top. And those are the guys who consistently keep catching through the day because they change what they're doing. They know that the bass are going to be affected by all the different systems. The moon being a major one, not the only one. I love you guys. You have so much good input. I really appreciate the feedback. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. It's the dad in me. Josh is saying I'm doing a good job teaching. we can debate on that. It's the dad in me. That's all. I want you guys to succeed, man. I know what it's like to go out and just get your head busted. And it's still going to happen. You're still going to go out and get your head busted. Hopefully it's just not as much. But be willing to do that. If you're in the grind, I have so much to give you. You're going to learn so fast and you're going to get over that hump so quick. If you're not in the grind, nothing anybody says to help you out is going to make any difference. You have to be in the game to be able to hit the shots. You have to be in the grind. Specty, I do not charter for bass yet. I haven't been chartering for bass. I have done a little bit, just like pulling like live bait and stuff. If things got slow, we would put some live bait on and troll for bass. But no, for the most part, I do not. There are charters that'll focus on bass. I'm just not one of them. We need more of that at Raystown Lake. We need some guys who are on bass boats who will throw you on the boat with you and take you out there and show you how to fish this lake for bass. They would do really well. As far as I know, there's no one doing that off of a bass boat, as far as I know. Oh, hey, Specty, why don't you get your boat out? Start taking people, man. You guys have any more questions for me? I don't want to stay on for much longer. I feel like I covered what needed to be covered, and I want you guys to go out and get your boats ready. So, any questions at all for me before we shut this down, shoot them at me now. I'll give you like 5 minutes. Maybe I'll stay on till like 8:40 or something like that. So another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to shut it down. But thank you guys so much for coming in. All the support's been incredible, but I've noticed specifically with these live streams, you guys are following the links below. Thank you for that. shop on Amazon here for the spring. Get your rod and reel. I have them listed down below, and Amazon will kick me a little commission for that, and I thank you. It doesn't cost you anything. They just pay me. So thank you. Brian, the Lewistown Lake is not an easy fishery. It will absolutely teach you, because if you don't learn how to stick to the basics and really refine your craft, you won't be catching, not steady. You might pick one up here and there by accident, but to be out there and really target them and stay on them. I can't tell you how many times I have people out and we'll be jigging, because if you don't know, I have a lure I make, and we'll be out jigging with it. And we'll be out there jigging, like 4 of us will be jigging this lure on all these different spots that look good. I'm marking fish down there, and we're moving lures through them. And you can be down there jigging for an hour or so, and no one's catching. If you did not have the confidence to stick with that simple, basic task that you are confident in, then you would waver. You would start doing something else, and it wouldn't work. And it might just be another 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and you would have been hooked up. You really have to stick to the basics and grind. That's how this lake is defeated, if that's possible. You got to grind. So I'm going right back to that. If you're not in the grind, you're not going to succeed. Harold, no, I think I'm gonna launch down at Shy Beaver. I'm gonna look around. I didn't say that in the chat either, though. It's no big deal, yeah. So I'm gonna put in Shy Beaver, and I'll probably look everywhere from Entrican down to however far I go down to Weavers. But that's a section. I'm just gonna look. Me and Brian from Briar's Lures are just gonna go out and hang out for the day, do a little bit of fishing, and do a whole lot of scouting. That's the goal for tomorrow. 3 more minutes, guys. I'm gonna shut it down. But yeah, it's no secret, man. I hope I see you guys out there. All right, let's get one last look at the moonrise table here. So today's the 9th. And you guys see the new moon here? Again, I don't care how bright the moon is. I care about the position of the moon. The brightness of the moon can come into play, but I'm really concerned about the position. So tomorrow morning, if you launch your boat at right at sunrise or something, you're going to catch the full effect of the moon being overhead, the sun being overhead, overcast, water temperatures heating up, and then right at peak at around noon to 1 o'clock, you're going to see the peak of everything kind of coming together. So we're going to be probably seeing some afternoon catches tomorrow if you're out on the water. And the reason I think tonight is special, and the reason it was an emergency live stream, is because of the distance the moon has from the Earth. Today and tomorrow, the 10th. Right, here's the 10th. Tomorrow is as close as the moon is getting to the Earth. The moon truly is falling. It's gonna recover. Don't worry. It's gonna go back up. But tomorrow, at its high point, right around 12 to 1 o'clock, it's as close as the moon is going to get to the Earth. And just like magnets pulling toward each other, the magnetic or the gravitational pull of the moon is going to affect those fish. It's going to kick them into high gear. It's going to make them want to bite your lure. So get out there and start casting it. Good, Harold. You're going to go out tomorrow and try it out. Good. Hopefully everybody in the chat understands the urgency and why I'm recommending you do this. We're still going to do a live stream on Tuesday, and I want to recap and see what everybody came up with. Let me know how they hit over this weekend. I hope you get out there. I think it's going to be beautiful. Take a friend, take a kid, take a veteran, but get out there and do it. Be there whenever it's hot, and this weekend it should be hot. I really want to encourage you guys to get on the water, because it's the right place to be. But let me say goodnight. I want to go hang out with my buddy and finish getting rigged for tomorrow. And hopefully I see you on the water. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping in for the live stream. Much love and much respect. Good night, guys. Good night.